Just a short video here. I wanted to show you something. We're on the server, the Kyber Pass, Takistan and Strife. And I just wanted to show you something. I need an engine for my truck. It has 73% damage. So I came up to the Northwest Airfield. And there's a little compound there, hospital down at the end. A few buildings in the center with a bunch of barracks in the back. And then these three hangars, some oil, some barracks outside the hangars, and a couple oil storage facilities, and two airport control towers, or air control towers. You can see down there underneath this wireframe tower, you can get a good look at it here. There's 3 AI running down there, and you can know the AI on this server. Sometimes they'll give them blue NATO helmets, so they're easy to identify between them being whether it's a player or AI. So I've watched them, and they've run a pattern down here. Now the reason this is important to note is all I wanted to do is I don't want any of these guns, I don't want any of these meds, I don't want to take the chance. It's risk versus reward. And I got shot to pieces twice down in that little compound. It triggers the AI to come hunt you down, so I'm not going back because the loot that I found there was not even worth a return trip. But I need engine parts. In these 2 gray buildings and the center building, which is about 3 or 4 stories, is, I believe the proper name is building under construction in the game file. So those are the 3 buildings that I know are good for auto parts. Nothing else here is good for an auto part, and I don't want the hassle. So I already searched the buildings down there, found a couple gas cans. So I have to leave. I have to time it to see when the loot is going to change. Maybe it changes every 10 minutes. Oh, there's AI down there, I think. 10, 20 minutes, hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, who knows? Sometimes it's not until restart. It might be a player down there because he's by himself and I didn't see a blue helmet. So now I know that there's a player down there. I think there is one going in and out of these barracks down here. But the main thing I wanted to show you was, while I'm waiting for that loot to change, and I'm keeping my eye on it, I'm keeping my eye on one known piece of loot. And that was right there in the center, and it was a ball of string. I've been laying here for 20 minutes waiting for that string to go away, so I know that the loot pattern has changed. It's rotated, so there's new loot down there now. So I didn't even have to go close, but I can tell what's going on down there. So the string is now gone. But while I was waiting, I noticed these AI run up here in between this the airport control towers. Air control tower to outside this fence, back over to this wire tower here, back to the air control tower. Then they went over to these oil tanks. They went down over this hill and were gone for 5 minutes and came back up right by this last, right there. Right by this last hangar. Every trip they make, they get a slight bit closer and closer. They're on a zigzag pattern, but I've been here for 20 minutes. And they've never come up between that last hangar down there and this wireframe tower. They never come up to this side. So it's very, very important to know that. And in the meantime, while I'm laying here for 20 minutes waiting for the loot to change, I've watched the entire pattern. So what have I learned from it? There are exactly 3 AI running in a group. There's only 3 AI in that group. It never varies. And I know where they run to and where they don't run to. They never pass this hangar. So the other AI down at this other end down here in that compound must take care of some things. And there's 3 right there. It's the first time in a half an hour I've seen those 3. So if I would have started just blindly shooting at that first group, I never would have known that you have 3 right behind you right here. And that made me suspicious. And they were only, at that wall, 240 meters away. And 240 meters for some of these AIs, they're cracked shots. That is nothing. They can hit you at 600 meters. So I'm just laying here being quiet. Now I'm going to watch their pattern right here. As I certainly never saw anything on this side for half an hour. It's been kind of boring. But since there was no reason to go to the hospital, it's not worth the risk. I just don't need anything down there, and I'm not that curious. Not yet. So these guys, now that tells me my suspicion was correct, these guys down here are covering the north end of the field. How much of it? Who knows? There's going to be a player getting in a little trouble. You can also tell what guns they have on them once you learn your guns a little bit better. That's a AK-47. He's got a shotgun on him, and the other guy, I'm not sure. The guys down on the right, one has a silencer on AK-74, which may be trouble. So I don't know where our friend was. I hope he stays in those barracks. There's a ton of barracks down there. And I also killed some animals. So when those AI were over here on my right, the animals kept getting closer and closer and closer, but they were never behind me, never from here all the way behind me, where they could run over the hill. I could run after them and go kill them real quiet. They were between me and this wireframe tower, and that's why I call them enticement animals. When you see animals, something's up. Something may be up. They were trying to get me to go closer and closer and closer to that tower. Like, come on over here. Come on over here. I'm an easy target. And that's usually when there's AI behind them. Not all the time, but something's up. You have to be able to smell when something's fishy in the game to prolong your life over here. Now, these 3 AI appeared over here. I don't know where they were at before. I'd like to learn that. They ran from the corner of this wall across the field, and look what's down there. There's a sheep down there. Come get me. Come get me. This is where you want to be. That's what that sheep is telling me. You want to be over here. There's free food. No, thank you. Not on your life. 1 sheep is not worth it. Now, if I just came to this field and didn't know anything about it, yeah, I'd go after a sheep. Why not? Let me run down there and kill that sheep real quick. There's no zombies around there. Why not? But now that you sit here and watch, I know I got 3 AI right there. There they are again. 3 on my right, 3 on my left. He's got a silencer on the front of that gun right there. You can see it sticking out almost. Big silencer on the end of it. But I'm not going to engage because none of them have what I really want, which is a DMR or a huge backpack. And right back to the wire tower. And now they're going back to the right-hand side of this tower, or the oil tank, I guess you call them, oil reservoir. And they even stand still for a while. And the other one's an M16. AK-74 was silencer and M16. And he even gave a little hand motion. Come on over to the right. Come to the right. You can see his hand motion. He motioned to the guy on the left to go to the right. And what did they do? They went to the right. They're almost telegraphing what they're doing. So you can learn a lot about where the AI are at, how many they are, what weapons they have, what their route pattern is, what the route pattern of the animals are, because I just killed a sheep right in front of me while I was laying down. It passed within 4 feet of me. I could come back here tomorrow and lay in the same position by the same rock, and that sheep will be back in the same position, and I'll kill it again. Here come these guys. And these guys are getting a little closer. Middle guy's definitely got a shotgun. That's an AK-47 because it's it's brown and it's got that dark brown. Not AK, yeah, AK-47 instead of the AK-74. So not heavy arms. I got an M249 saw, but there's 3 of them too. So they didn't quite make it to this building down here. So 15 minutes to restart. There's no sense in me running down there and getting killed. I'll never get back in time. There's a random spawn on this map, and I'll never get back in time because you could spawn anywhere on the map. And I'm right up here on the very, very north of the map. So I may have 5,000-6,000 meters to run to get my gear back. Not worth it. Not worth it. Plus I got a truck here to keep an eye on. I don't want anybody stealing it. So they have a mission down here. Eliminate the targets and acquire a Ural, a UN relief truck, another Ural up here, a couple forts, Foxtrot, Delta, Zulu, an AN2 supply drop, and it's quite a big map. I'm hoping to get a helicopter so I can show you the rest of it. But it's mostly desert, not much woods, lots of rocks, and as you can see, some whopping big mountains. Now the ones in the far back you can't get to, but there's some hiking on here. If you thought Chinaris had some tall hills, that's nothing. And now I learned something else too. Those guys are actually in the barracks area. Two AK-47Ms. If they had darker wood on it, I know it would be an SA-58. So now they're running in between those barracks, and I saw a single player down there before, so he must have ducked in and out. Don't think he saw me. So now I know, half an hour laying up here, I learned so much about which buildings are which. I found a new building down here, which may have auto parts in it. I know the UAZ is here. It's a vehicle that needs to be fixed up. I know there's nothing inside the hangars like helicopters. These guys are back again. Where are they going? They're going to this water tower again. Now, yesterday they actually climbed the water tower, and that's a good time to snipe on them because they can't shoot while they're climbing. Don't have a gun in their hands. So anyway, just to bring us back to observation can teach you more about this game and how to get by, and be successful at this game than anything else. Most of the time I get killed, it's running. I get in a hurry, I get tired, and I run in somewhere blind. And I usually run right into AI or another player. So now I know that I can go get auto parts here if I just come up here, lay for 2 or 3 minutes. Look to the right, look to the left, sneak down in the middle, or in the middle there, middle buildings, and just be real quiet. And then when I get into that gray building, stay low and slow. And that gray building down there, building under construction, is one of my favorite places of all time. This one right here, to have a gunfight from. Highly defensible. You can move around quite a bit. There's the hospital. There's these guys coming back. Where are they coming back? Oh, he's got a scope on there. Not the one I want. That doesn't look like an ACOG scope. But ACOG scopes are highly sought after. Came right back to this corner wall which we first measured. Actually, they were a little closer than that, staring at me. And I know my gun is sighted in for 300 meters, so I could pull it down to 2 just in case they start shooting. And I could probably down all 3 of them right there, easy. 200 meters. I got 600 rounds of ammunition on me, but not worth the choice or a chance. If I catch one stray bullet, I'm dead. And since I'm laying down towards them, as you can imagine from their perspective, the only thing that is exposed is my head and shoulders. So if they hit me, it's going to be in the head they have about a third of a chance of hitting me in the head. 2/3 of a chance of hitting me in the body. And then they're running their same pattern right across there. So just like sentries, they're just like sentries on any other map where you got to sneak down into the base, get the intelligence, and get back out. If I'm a little sneaky about it, even if I see them and even if I know they're here, that's fine. Sure enough, a half hour later, I kill that sheep. Here comes another sheep. And I think I'm laying in about the same, roughly the same position. So that sheep will come closer to me. So there's a lot to be learned if you just spend a half hour having your morning coffee just staring. You think you're not getting any game time in, but you're learning a lot. And I know I can get down there for auto parts. I don't have to worry about the guys on the left. I have to worry about, or the guys on the right. But I do have to worry about the guys on the left and keep track of them. So when I enter or exit those buildings down there, I have to know where they're at on their loop. And I want to catch them the furthest away possible from me. Then I'll start sneaking down in, and I'll keep a building between me and them. So that's it for now. I'm going to keep quiet until restart, and I'll be back. And later on, I'll make a full video showing you the map that they have here. But it's a beautiful map. You wouldn't think so. I don't like desert environments at all, but I am falling in love with this map. It's like it's DayZ and it's familiar, but everything's brand new to me, and I like that. I like that a lot. And it is sniper heaven out here because you can see so far. 1,600 meter shots could be had out here. I'm hoping they put Lapua Magnums in this game rather than just DMRs, because the Lapua Magnum can really reach out there. I think you can sight them in up well past 1,200 meters. And I've taken shots that far before. And they do have AI helicopters. This would be AI right here. The first time that they're in over on the northwest. So it seems to have its quiet time, and it seems to have its time when things are pretty busy. So I'll be back. Just running down the east side of this map. I just want to run all day as far as I can get. It's an awful long way to go, but I'm guessing that's 12,000 meters. I'll have to get a measurement on it later when I get a helicopter maybe. Well, I can just put a it's the last known town. 9,500 meters down to there. And I actually started out up here. This is the end road. These roads end right at the edge of map. This one's not quite the edge of map. This one is. And this one is. So down here on the south, I'd say it might be 15,000 meters altogether. But we got 10 minutes to restart. I just wanted to give you an idea. The clarity on the graphics is stunning on this one for me. But I wanted to give you an idea of some of these valleys in through here. And they do have base building on here. I'm going to try it out. They have the pieces and the parts for it, so I'm going to check it out and see. But it looks like this valley just goes off into the mist forever. I don't think you can get to those far back mountains that are pixelated back there, but it'd be interesting to know how far back you can go in there. So I'm kind of looking for not an off-road vehicle. Oh wow, I didn't know about that. I may have to mark this down for a possible base location. And I forget what town this is. Let me look on the map. Nagara, right here. But one of the things that was interesting about Nagara is I lost sight of it. It's somewhere on the right-hand side of town. I noticed from up on here on the hill. It has its own gas station there. So you just pull your vehicle in. It will fill it to the top for you. You don't even have to get out of your vehicle. It's an auto refill. And so they would have loot down there. They would have their gas station. I just need to look for a well. Would be nice to fill water bottles, and then of course you'd probably have to go somewhere else for auto parts. There probably won't be anywhere on here that's one-stop shopping. But I just wanted to give you the idea where you're running around here on this map, and why I call it the sniper's dream. This is a long way, as far as I can see back in there. Thousands of meters. So it's no joke to be running through here. Oh, there's another little surprise down there. Did not know about that one either. And this is why I keep telling people over and over and over again. You'll hear me repeat it an awful lot. I don't care if you have 6 helicopters and 6 cars and ATVs and motorcycles and all that stuff in the game. On any DayZ game. Sooner or later, it really, really pays off to run the map. You're moving at a slower pace. You're more likely to remember the rocks and the direction you're traveling, nearby towns and everything, and you find way more stuff. The only exception to that is maybe by heli. If you're looking, it's hard to fly and look at the same time. So you can cover a lot of ground in a heli. But oh, that lake looked a lot bigger when we were up on the hill than it does now. Now it looks like hot springs. So you can see down into the depth of it. Got to be 20 feet deep down in there. And a nice, look at that, a nice flat spot to build a base right there. The driveway's a little bit rocky, but it isn't bad if you own a ATV. And people could shoot down into your base, but I've never even had anybody shoot at my base. I've never caused enough problems or gave anybody a reason to shoot at one of my bases. So I had a friend's base under attack, but never one of my own. And that was on a server where it was normal to attack each other's bases. It's sort of clan versus clan, and so you just accept it and find out where their base is. It's kind of just the gameplay. It's a chess game, and people kind of like that gameplay. And there's room for it, on some servers. If that's the way they play, fine. If you don't want to play that way, just move on to another server. Every server's got its own kind of ticks like that. Some are player versus environment. Some are player versus player. I went on a mission this morning unannounced, which I rarely do, but there's only a couple people on the server. And sure enough, I accidentally killed one of them and couldn't apologize enough. Trouble is, he only spoke Russian and no English, and I only spoke English. So yeah, so what they did is they basically have the landscape here and then they fill it with water. Because if you took the water away, it would still be the same landscape. So I'm guessing, you can see the rocks down underneath there. So I'm guessing that if they wanted to, until this spills over the edge, you could raise the water level on any low spot on any map and make a lake. And I kind of wish they had some more lakes on some of these servers, but this, for the Kyber Pass, this has got more surprises. It looks like the most boring map you'd ever want to go to. But this may be home, especially if I find a fishing pole. But anyway, I didn't know this guy was at the mission, and a helicopter was shooting at me, and I had 4 different AI shooting at me from the mission on 2 different hills. 2 on one hill, 2 on another hill, and then a heli strafing me. Took care of the heli, then I took care of the 4 guys, and I saw somebody turn around and running towards me in a hero costume, so I just shot. And I kind of figured, well, that's kind of unusual, a hero costume. Don't know where that gas station was at. I might have to cross over and get to the other hill. But look how hidden that is. Until you're running right there, you'd never know it's there. So anyway, on some of these missions, they do have people in survivor clothes and hero skin. And the first time I ran into that on a mission, I was like, what the heck's going on? And it's just advanced gameplay where you really got to think on, is it a survivor you're shooting? Because your first instinct, and the reason they do that is because your first instinct is to hesitate. You don't want to shoot a survivor. You don't know what's going on, and then you realize that you don't want to shoot a hero either, and you can't understand why is somebody in hero skin, they'll lose their hero skin if they shoot at you. There's that gas station with the yellow stripe around the roof right in front of that tower. So anyway, missed a heli crash too. But anyway, so now I just have to go to another mission later on today, which I will, and I'm gonna sit and watch from a hillside to see if any of the AI are in on the same mission are in hero skin. And if they are, I may not have killed another player. It may have been an AI, and the player might have got killed just at the same time, and it popped up on screen. Because I noticed he got killed about 10 times today, so I don't think he's a experienced player in hero skin. Yeah, that gas station, you just roll in beside the pump, count to 4, roll right out. You don't have to get out. You don't have to get fuel cans or fill them up. Don't even have to shut the engine off. So I'll check that out. Oh, there is one shed down there for auto parts. I may have to take a little bit closer look at this town. But got restart now, so I'll be back later. There's another place I found interesting right here. In the trees on the west side of the map. Big rocks. The difference with these rocks is I haven't got hurt on them yet, but you can climb them really easy. They're not as sketchy as the ones on Chinaris where you could actually break a leg. So this is what it looks like walking in among these rocks here. They got some places that are like this for a tent, stash, that are so hidden, yet you can still see out a little bit. Different trails. This is like the, I swear, it's like the, it's another good spot right here. Always looking for the most perfect site to put a base. But this right here, you could just put a couple stashes, a couple tents, and couple stashes, couple tents. Look at that. Couple stashes, couple tents, and a camo netting. I don't know if I'll get back to the same place I was without hopefully breaking my leg. So it's kind of really hard to show you all of it, but there's so many hidden corners in here. And the best thing about it is, one of the best things I think, is it's right next to the road, although you'd never know it. People could be driving right by here and you'd never know what's up here. don't know which path I took the first time. Don't break my leg. This right here, this is it. You could get a vehicle over this little hill right here. It sinks down in. You put a couple tents in there with a camo netting. Nobody would ever bother you. It's right next to the road, so it's easy access for the road, so you can get a vehicle up in here. And I'm telling you, for somebody that had an ATV or a motorcycle or two, this would be it. Not sure if I'll make it my permanent base, but it is dang sure a possibility. It's like the Wild West back in there. This is what you see in the movies all the time, where the outlaws go up into the mountains, in amongst the rocks, and are shooting down from the rocks. So if I had to nickname that place so I could remember it, it would either be Camp Lost or Camp Wild West. I think Camp Wild West will do it. So I'll know where that's at next time on the map. Running down to Fort Zulu to check it out, and this is where we're at on these rock outcroppings right here. The bend in the road. So you're not at the very western part of the map, but you're darn close. And it's about halfway north and south. This Firuzabad would be the dead center of the map, pretty much center. Just not sure how far it goes out into this direction either. But that's the great thing about taking a run, and that's what I'm doing all day today, is just running to find those hidden gems like that. And this really reminds you, if you've never been to the United States or haven't covered the whole United States, I could show you photographs, and this would be eastern Oregon, western southern Idaho, some of Montana. It's like just like this map, even with some of those alpine lakes, and I'm hoping to find more alpine lakes. So the map marker doesn't show anything there. It must be over the next hill, this fort, and I don't know why it's marked on the map or what for. I assume there's AI there. I just killed 3 in town and looted their gear, and it gave me a lot of food and a lot of drink. And matches and a hunting knife and stuff like that. It's extra hunting knife. So I'm just going to keep exploring, see if I can find some more stuff. Especially seeing the unseen. Right there's a, looks like, oh, come on now. Yep, store. And a well, a freshwater well right there. Another freshwater well. I've been drinking out of them, and another one. They're a little bit different. Some have these bars across the top, like a rope and a pulley. Others don't. So I was thinking that these ones here with a pump handle were the only ones that were freshwater, and not to drink from the other ones. But it was an emergency earlier. I drank from the other ones. I didn't get sick. So I have antibiotics, so I'm just going to have to keep drinking from every well to see if there's a difference. There's 3 wells in that town. And as usual with DayZ, as soon as you look through a scope object or a rifle, you're going to start shaking. It's just a little thing it has. AI probably won't spawn in if they're covering the town until I get down there. But Kushab, least I know most of these towns are just like Daisy. They all have freshwater wells. So I think I'll run up that way, get to the high ground above this fort, see what's going on. I know that's 1,100 meters away, but boy, the crest of that hill is good. Probably 400 to get over that crest of the hill, so I think I'll still be safe 700 meters away. On to the next thing.